Welcome to my channel, and in this episode we're going to be doing a step-by-step on a Among Us character using TinkerCAD. And with no further questions, let's get into it. Alright, today we're going to be making a Among Us character. I got two already done off here to the side. First thing, I always like to name my project Among Us Character. Have to stop and think, did I spell that right? Alright, let's see. I got some instructions here. I'll link it down below in the description if you want the typed out instructions. First thing, we're here in our basic shapes. Over here I could scroll my mouse up and down to see them all, or I could grab this bar and pull it down to see them all. Majority of them are right here in this area though. Let's see, first thing we're going to do, we're going to build the body of the Among Us character. Let's bring out a cylinder. I want to make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to click here on one of the corners. On the X direction, X is left to right, I want to change that to 30. On the Y direction, that's the up and down right here, I want to change that to 30. And the Z direction, if I look at it like this, this is coming up off the work plane. I'm going to leave that as 20. Okay. If you ever want to go back to your main view, right here, it's this little house is your home view. Okay, and I'm looking at that. Okay, next thing is, notice he's rounded on the top and bottom. So let's bring in some spheres. Let's see, X direction, let's make that 30. Y direction, 30. Z direction, 30. Okay, I'm going to flip my page right here. Let's see, I got one on the top and bottom, so let's go ahead and just duplicate that. That's just to the left of the trash can here, the duplicate. Notice you could also hit Control D. And I need to move one of those up, so even though it doesn't look like it, there are two right here on top of each other. Okay, and I'm going to move things up and down in the Z direction. Okay, that's up and down from the plane. You have to hold the control button. So I'm holding down control, and I'm going to go up 20. Now I could just hit the up arrow key 20 times, or I could do increments of 10 if I hold down shift. So not only am I holding down the control, but I'm going to hold down shift also and push the arrow key, up arrow key, twice. So here's 10, 20. Okay, so here in the home view, that's what it looks like. And I want that to move together, so I'm going to select it both, so just draw a box across it. Another way to select things is I can hold down shift and select things. I can also deselect by holding down shift. But once they're both selected, group, it's this symbol right here, it's also Control G. It's what that does is now it moves as one object. Okay. I need to merge it with this, but first of all I need to line it up, so I'm going to draw a box across it so it's all grouped. A line is these two boxes right here. Okay, notice the buttons pop up. Notice how I line them in all different ways like this by which buttons I select. Okay, so the ones that I want to select is the middle X, and it'll be gray if it's already there. Okay. Also, I want the middle on the Y, which is already gray, and I want middle of the Z. So these three here are the Z's, so I want the middle there. So see, go up to the top, go down to the bottom, or go middle. Okay, so I want center, center, center. Okay, alright, that's exactly what I want, and I want it to be one object, so I'm now going to group it together. Okay, let's see. This is actually kind of the exact same thing that I'm going to need for his visor right here. So let's copy that. So here's my copy. Set off to the side. Okay, so one I'll use for his body, and the other one I'll shrink it down and rotate it to be his visor right here. Okay, let me turn my page. Let's see. The visor is a lot smaller, so let's say this one's going to be my visor. In the X direction, the left or right, let's make that only 10. The Y direction, this one right here is 10. And then the Z direction, this one right here coming up off the work plane, let's make that 20. Okay. Just for fun, I'm going to make that white. because that matches his right there. Okay. Let's see. We need to rotate it. Now when I rotate it, that's these little curved arrows here. Now see, this one here is a little bit hard. So usually I like to click this little corner right here between the top and the front, the little corner. See how I can pick all those? I want this one right here. And now it's so much easier to see my 3 different ways I can rotate this. So it's what I want is this one right here so that I can lay it down. Okay. I can just type it in 90, or I can grab the arrow and rotate. Now notice that if I'm inside the circle, it goes in increments of 22.5, 45, 67.5. Now let's say I need like a weird number like 88. Move your mouse outside, and now it goes in 1 degree increments. So that's if you need something unique. But I need exactly 90, so I'm going to go inside the circle, rotate at 90. Okay. When you're done, always go back to your home view, because when you're moving things, it's easier to be in the home view. Okay. Alright, let's put it on them. So I'm going to select both these, and I need to line it up. So align. I want to the right on the X, so these 3 dots are my X. Centered on the Y, so these 3 dots are the Y's, so centered on that. Please choose this, because if you're guessing, a lot of times it'll be off 1 millimeter, and when you print it, you'll see that difference. And also, if it's perfectly balanced, it'll put the center of gravity off a little bit. Okay, and then the Z direction, that's these 3 dots right here. I want the top. Okay, notice that it is too high, so I need to move it down. Okay, so let's move it down, say 10 millimeters. Now up and down, remember I gotta hold Control. So I'm going to hold Control, and I want to move it down 10. Now instead of hitting the down arrow key 10 times, I'm going to hold down Control Shift and just hit the down arrow key once. Okay. Notice that it's not sticking out enough. Okay. So, oh dear, what did I just hit? Let's go back in. Okay, select the visor again. Okay, so let's move it out from the body a little bit, about 3 millimeters. So it is selected, and hit the right arrow key 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Alright, just swing it around so you can see. Oh, doesn't that look nice? And notice that it's going to print, okay, because it comes up here and it gently goes out and then back. Okay, so we're not going to have any printing issues. Hitting the home button again. Alright, let me flip the page. We need to make that one object. Select it all. Group. If you, for some reason, want to, as just viewing it, have that still white, click right here on this, whatever color it is, the solid. And if I hit multicolor, all the pieces retain their original color of what they were right before you grouped. So that was white and that was orange right before I grouped. Now notice that it still moves as one object, but it does show that as white and that part as orange. Alright, I need to put the little backpack on him. So that's going to be this shape here. Let's move him off to the side. Let's see, in my X direction, that's from left to right, I want that skinnier, so let's make it 10. The Y direction, let's go a little bit wider. Let's go 24. And let's go a little bit taller on this. So let's make this 26. Oops, I got a little plus sign there. Okay, 26. Alright, notice, let me go on this. To zoom in on any object like I just did, select it and hit F. F stands for focus. So notice that these are all rounded like that. Okay, so let me go back to the home view. To round it, that is, see this list of things over here? That's my radius. So as I increase that, see how it rounds it? Let's round that up to 5. So I could slide this over to 5, or I could click right here and just type in 5. Alright, so notice that it rounded the edges. Okay, let's put it on them. We need a line, so I need to select both these objects. So draw a box. It's all selected. Notice that these boxes around it. A line. I want the left on the X, so that's these three, so the left one here. The Y direction from here to here, centered. And then the Z direction, these three, I want centered. Okay, notice that it's a little bit too close to the body. So let's move it, the body, to the right 5. So I selected, and I'm just going to hit the right arrow key 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think I want this also to be orange. So I'm going to switch it before I group it. Since I have it on multicolor, this stays white and this is all orange now. And now this is one object. Alright, so now we're on to the legs. The legs, I'm going to use the paraboloid. Did I say that right? I think so. Okay, bring out the paraboloid. Let's set him off to the side. Let's see, the X direction. That's this number down here. Remember, I'm always in the home view doing this kind of stuff. Let's have that 16, and I want it same diameter all the way, so let's make the Y also 16. But I want this much taller. So right now it's 20, let's double that to 40. Okay. I do need to flip this around because it goes from like fatter up here at the top, the skinnier down, so I need to kind of flip it upside down. Every time I rotate it, I like to be in this view so I can see my 1, 2, 3 planes for rotating. Let's go back to this plane right here, and I want to rotate this 174 because I want his, let me see if I can show you this. See how his legs are straight here but then kind of going out like that. So I've already figured it out for you that we want it to be at 174. So I'm just going to type that in right here, 174, enter. Okay. Alright. Notice that it's kind of straight right here and it goes in right here. Okay. That's this one right here, this leg. I'm going to need to copy it for this leg right here. Okay. Notice it's actually kind of just exactly mirrored from right there to there. So I'm going to copy it and mirror it. So I'm going to go back to the home view, select it, duplicate it. Okay, and then I need to mirror it. So that's this one right here. It used to be called flip, but now it's called mirror. And I want it in this direction right here. Because this one here makes it the exact same. This one here flips it upside down. So this one here, and I'm going to click off and show you what I did. See that? Now I have the two. Alright, I need to spread them out a little bit. So let's grab this front one right here and let's move it away from that one about 14. So I'm going to hold down shift and I want to go 10. Remember, I need to go total 14. So move it down 10 and I need to go 4 more. So I let go of shift and now 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me look at it. See the legs right there? That's this part right here. And yes, I know we don't need the bottom part right here, but I'll cut that off a little bit later in the demonstration. Okay, let's go ahead. I need to always have those right exactly where they're always at, so I need to group them. So select them, group. Okay, I need to bring in the body and I need to align these just perfectly. Don't just guess. This guy is perfectly balanced, so when I set him on the table, he'll stand up. If you guys guess and say, yeah, that looks good enough, and just kind of manually move it, he'll be a little bit off centered and he's going to fall over all the time. So align. I want him, let me see here, center on the X, center on the Y, and the bottom one right here on the Z. Okay. Now it's way too high, so I need to move them down or the body up, either one. Let's go ahead and move the body up. So select the body and let's go up in the Z direction 25. Now anything in the Z direction, always have to hold down control. So I'm holding down control. Now I need to move 25. So I can hit the up arrow key 25 times, or my shortcut, I'm going to hold control shift and I'm going to push the up arrow key twice. So 10, 20. Now I need 5 more, but I gotta let go of shift, so only control, and now up 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what I was shooting for was getting this line kind of right on this edge of this circle transition right here, as close as possible. That's what I was shooting for. Let me hit focus so I could zoom out. I didn't want to zoom out there for me. Okay, so there's his legs. I want it just like that. I don't want to move it all, so I want to group it so it all moves as one. Oops, I wanted to make him all orange. Let me ungroup. Let me make this orange real quick. Now group. Doesn't really matter the color. I just kind of on my screen here, I kind of like it that way. Okay, now notice that it should be flat on the bottom, so we're going to cut off the bottom. Now this cylinder and this box here, see how they're gray? Those are cutaways. Okay, now I could bring in just a regular box and hit hole. It's just kind of a shortcut to bring in the one that's already gray. See how it's already on the hole. So this one and this one are the same thing. This one's just a solid and this is the hole. Okay, the box. Let's see, in the X direction, 20, it's already there. And the Y direction, I need to make it a little bit wider than it already is. So let's change the Y to a 30. And then I need them to stand the exact height I want, and 20 is a little bit too tall. Let's make this at 18. Alright, I need to put it on there. Don't just guess, because if you move it like this and you leave off just a hair like that, that's going to be there. So always use the align command. So I select it, align. I want it centered on the X, centered on the Y. See how I didn't have that little piece right there? And bottom. Now see how it's already gray, so I'm already at the bottom of the Z. Okay, once that's done, let's go ahead and now anytime I group with a hole, holes take away. So when I group, see the little red outline? That means the computer's thinking. And we're done. Okay, now I can't print like this because it'll think that it's up off the work plane, and the nozzle will try to print up here in the midair, and it's just going to make spaghetti. Okay, so you always have to take your designs and set it down onto this little blue surface. Okay, all you got to do is have whatever you want selected, so click on it and hit D, and it drops it down onto the work plane. See how he's perfectly flat on there? So now when it goes to print, it does that. Okay, now when it prints, this guy here matches this guy right here. Okay, right here on the bottom, I'll get a little bit of stringiness right here, and it doesn't look too bad, and it's okay. But let me push this off to the side. See what I did to this guy? How I just sliced this off just a little bit. That prints a little bit better. Now this isn't in my instructions because I learned this a little bit later. If I cut that off, most people don't even notice that that's slightly different than what a Among Us character looks like, and it prints a little bit better. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Notice that it's kind of at an angle that's kind of like this piece here. What was that called? Wedge. Okay, let me go back to my home view. I need to turn it 90 degrees this way. Let's see, let's make it a little bit wider. Let's make it about 30. I don't need it sticking out quite that much. Let's change the X to a 6, and let's change my Z. I can't see the Z. If I change the angle a little bit, see how it's easier to see the Z. Let's make that 6. Okay, it's going to be a cutaway, so I'm going to change it from solid to hole. Okay, now be aware you don't have to. Your guy will print just fine like this. Just notice that, and I'll show you one that I actually printed where it messes up just a little bit. Let's align this. Let's go to the left on the X, centered on the Y, and centered on the Z. Okay, now let me zoom in. I'm going to hit F. See how it's a little bit too high? So I need to go up or down, down in the Z. So I'm going to hold down Control and hit the down arrow key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That looks about perfect. See how that's going to cut that right there? Okay, so I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to group that. So I just sliced off the backpack a little bit, and that helps with when I'm printing to keep it from doing a little bit of spaghetti right there. Okay, sometimes when it sticks out flat, not this guy, the red guy, it does have a little bit of a mess up because that's trying to go out flat a little bit too far for it to print correctly. Alright, that's it, and you're ready to print. I'm going to add on a couple pictures of mine that I actually did print. Okay, you can swing around. There's this mask. Okay, be aware this will print the exact same as this. other than, so it doesn't really matter that this is white and this is not. It's going to print the same. If you have a colored printer, that's actually all in the programming. It has nothing to do with the colors that you have here on your screen. Okay, so this is just nicer when I'm designing it. I can kind of see it and visualize how it's going to look. Okay, so don't worry what your colors are here, because when you actually print it, it's whatever you put into the machine and how you program it. Alright, thank you and have a great day. Alright, so right here you can see my two that I printed. Here I turn them over on to their side, and look right here on the blue one, you can see a little bit of mess up. It's really not that bad. On the green one I got the little chamfer, so it's cut off, and so it turns out perfect. Here's some Among Us with their hats and one dead one. Then here's some I shrunk down and put a little loop on it and made them keychains. Really had a lot of fun with this project. Hope you guys do too. Thank you. Bye.